Su-min sat at Do-hyun's kitchen table, her hands wrapped around a cup of tea. Across from her, Yeon-ji waited for her response. The room was quiet. Everyone had listened as the princess told her full story. "So your uncle killed your parents to take the throne," Su-min said slowly. "And now he wants you dead to remove any threat to his power." "Yes," Yeon-ji nodded. "But there's more you need to know." Jun-seo, who stood guard by the window, turned to look at them. "Tell her about Earth's place in all this, Your Highness." Yeon-ji took a deep breath. "The celestial dominion has watched Earth for hundreds of years. Most of our leaders think humans are too violent and primitive to join our galactic community." "Primitive?" Hae-yeon asked, sounding a little offended. "Your technology is very basic compared to ours," Yeon-ji explained. "But my parents saw something special in humans. They believed you had great potential. They wanted to open relations with Earth." "And your uncle disagreed?" Su-min asked. Strongly, Yeon-ji's eyes dimmed with sadness. "He believes humans are dangerous and should be controlled, not welcomed as equals. This was one reason he turned against my parents." Do-hyun, who had been quiet until now, spoke up. "What will your uncle do if he finds you here?" Yeon-ji's face grew serious. "He will punish Earth for helping me. He might take your resources. He might even make humans slaves to show what happens to those who oppose him." The room fell silent as the humans took in this news. Earth's fate was now tied to this alien princess. "We need to get you somewhere safer," Su-min finally said. "Jinwoo has ordered searches of all homes in this area. They'll be here by tomorrow." "Where can we go?" Hae-yeon asked. "Those ships are everywhere now." Su-min pulled out a map. "I have a cabin in the mountains. No electricity, no technology to track. We can hide there while we figure out what to do." "There is another option," Yeon-ji said quietly. Everyone looked at her. "We could expose my uncle's crimes to the entire Dominion. Some would still support me if they knew the truth." "How?" Do-hyun asked. "Your ship was destroyed." Yeon-ji touched the pendant around her neck. "This royal seal contains a direct link to our communication network. But it needs power, more than this planet can easily provide." Jun-seo suddenly moved away from the window. "We have company," he warned. Through the glass, they could see lights moving on the road toward the house. Vehicles were coming. "Jinwoo's forces," Su-min said, standing quickly. "They must have tracked me here." "We need to leave now," Do-hyun said, already grabbing emergency supplies. Out the back, through the forest path. As they hurried to gather what they needed, Yeon-ji pulled Su-min aside. "Why are you helping me?" she asked. "You just met me. I've put your world in danger." Su-min's face was serious. "When Jinwoo arrived, I saw how he looked at us, like we were animals, not people. I watched his soldiers scan our bodies without permission. Your uncle's men don't respect humans, but you do. I can see that." Outside, the vehicles were getting closer, their headlights cut through the darkness. "I believe you're telling the truth," Su-min continued. "And I believe Earth has a better chance with you than with your uncle." Do-hyun opened the back door. "Time to go," he whispered. As they slipped out into the night, the first vehicles pulled up to the front of the house. Soldiers with strange weapons jumped out. Commander Jinwoo stepped from the lead car, his cold eyes scanning the darkened house. "Find the princess," he ordered, "and kill anyone helping her." But the princess and her human allies were already moving through the dark forest, heading for the mountains. Behind them, the small house that had been Yeon-ji's first home on Earth was now surrounded by those who wanted her dead. 3 days had passed since they escaped Do-hyun's house. Now they were in Su-min's mountain cabin, surrounded by tall trees and far from any town. But they all knew they couldn't hide forever. "Jinwoo has put your pictures on TV," Su-min said, returning from her trip to a small store for supplies. "They're calling you terrorists. The reward for finding you is very large." Do-hyun looked out the window at the forest. "How long until they search these mountains?" "Not long," Jun Seo said from where he sat cleaning his energy weapon. Their ships can scan large areas quickly. Yunji sat at a wooden table, studying a map. We need a plan. We can't just keep running. Yun, who had been working with some electronic parts, looked up. I think I have an idea. Princess, you said your pendant can send messages to your people, right? Yes, but it needs more power than your devices can give, Yunji replied. Yun smiled. What if we connected it to the power lines that run near the main road? We could redirect that electricity. Do-hyun looked at his sister with surprise. You can do that. I teach languages, but my hobby is electronics, Hyun explained. It's risky, but possible. Jun Seo shook his head. Even if that works, Jinwoo's ships would detect the signal immediately. They would find us before help could arrive. The room fell silent. Then Do-hyun spoke. We need to split up, he said. Some of us create a distraction, while others send the message. What kind of distraction? Soo-min asked. Do-hyun smiled. Something that uses their technology against them. That night, Do-hyun and Soo-min hiked to a clearing 2 miles from the cabin. They carried bags filled with small devices they had built using parts from phones, radios, and kitchen appliances. Are you sure this will work? Soo-min asked as they placed the devices around the clearing. Hyun says it will, Do-hyun replied. These will copy the energy signature from Yunji's pendant, but much weaker. When we turn them on, Jinwoo's sensors will pick up many small signals instead of one big one. Meanwhile, back at the cabin, Hyun worked on connecting Yunji's pendant to wires that led to the power lines. Jun Seo stood guard, his weapon ready. Almost done, Hyun said, wiping sweat from her forehead. When the distraction starts, we'll have maybe 10 minutes before they figure it out. Yunji touched Hyun's shoulder. Thank you for risking so much to help me. Hyun smiled. Earth is my home. I wanted to meet the stars as a friend, not a slave. At midnight, Do-hyun activated the devices in the clearing. They began to pulse with energy, each one sending out a signal similar to royal blood. High above, Jinwoo's ships detected the signals. On his command ship, alarms sounded. We've found her, an officer reported. But there are dozens of signals. Jinwoo's eyes narrowed. It's a trick. Spread out and check each signal. Find the real one. Ships raced toward the mountain, splitting up to cover all the signals. Just as Do-hyun had planned, they were confused and scattered. Back at the cabin, Yunji held her pendant as Hyun connected the final wire to the power line. Electricity surged through the ancient royal device. It began to glow bright blue. Now, Your Highness, Hyun said, stepping back. Yunji closed her eyes and spoke clearly into the pendant. This is Princess Yunji, rightful heir to the Celestial Dominion. My uncle, Grand Admiral Taho, has committed treason. He murdered the Emperor and Empress. I am alive and hiding on Earth. Send help. The pendant flashed brightly, sending her message across vast distances of space. For a moment, the cabin was filled with blue light. Then darkness returned as the power line overloaded and broke. Did it work? Hyun asked. Yunji looked at the now dark pendant. The message was sent. Now we must hope someone loyal still lives to hear it. Outside, they heard the sound of ships getting closer. Their time was running out. Ju-ri Kim stared at the gray ceiling of her small room. Another day on Frontier 7, the space station she had called home for 3 years now. She got up and put on her blue uniform with the human badge, a simple Earth symbol that marked her as one of the uplifted species. The hallway outside her room was busy with morning activity. Humans walked with their heads down. Tall, blue-skinned Mon officials walked with their heads high. The difference was clear to anyone watching. Humans were at the bottom. The Mon were at the top. Good morning, Researcher Kim, said a voice from behind her. Ju-ri turned to see Overseer Tall, her Mon boss. His blue skin seemed extra bright under the hall lights, and his 4 eyes blinked at different times as he looked at her. "Good morning, Overseer," she said with a small bow. The bow wasn't required, but humans who showed extra respect got better treatment. "Your work on the Zender hunting patterns was excellent," Tall said. The consortium was pleased. Juri felt a small burst of pride. As a xenobiologist, she studied alien animals. Her report on how the 4-winged Zender hunted in packs had earned rare praise. "Thank you, Overseer," she said. "I'm glad it was useful." "So useful that you've been assigned something special," Tall said. "Follow me." They walked through 3 security checkpoints. At each one, the Mon guards waved Tall through but scanned Juri completely. By the 3rd checkpoint, they were in a part of the station she had never seen before. "This is Section X," Tall explained, "where we keep our most interesting specimens." They stopped at a large window looking into a white room. Inside was a creature that made Juri gasp. It looked like a lion from old Earth pictures, but much bigger. It had 6 legs instead of 4. Its fur shifted colors like oil on water, blues, purples, and greens moving across its body. Its eyes were deep gold and seemed to glow. "What is it?" Juri asked, unable to look away. "We don't know," Tall said. "We found it on planet KX 249. It's the only one we've seen. We call it Specimen L9. The creature turned its massive head and looked directly at Juri. She felt a strange chill, like it wasn't just seeing her, but knowing her. "It's killed 3 handlers already," Tall said calmly. "All Mon, of course. We don't risk humans on dangerous work." Juri knew the truth. Humans weren't worth risking because they were valuable research tools, not because the Mon cared about human lives. "You want me to study it?" she asked. "Yes. Humans have a history with big cats. You might see things our researchers miss." Tall handed her a tablet. "All the data we have is here. You start tomorrow." After Tall left, Juri stayed at the window. The creature hadn't moved but kept watching her with those golden eyes. Back in her room that night, Juri read the reports. The creature had been caught 2 months ago. It showed unusual brain activity. It never made sounds. It ate the food provided but didn't sleep much. The 3 Mon it killed had all been alone with it when the containment field failed. Juri looked at her reflection in her small mirror. For 50 years, humans had been uplifted by the Mon, brought into space, given technology, but never given freedom. Humans were kept in jobs that used their skills, but never let them advance too far. She touched the human badge on her uniform, a cage, just like the one holding that strange lion. Tomorrow, she would begin studying the creature. What she didn't know was that it had already begun studying her. Juri entered the observation room early the next morning. The wall between her and Specimen L9 was clear but strong. She could see the creature, and it could see her. "You're here early," said a voice behind her. Juri turned to see Daho Park, another human researcher. He was tall with short black hair and always followed the rules. They had trained together years ago. "I couldn't sleep," she said. "This is the most interesting assignment I've had in years." Daho looked at the 6-legged lion. "It killed 3 Mon. Be careful. The force field will protect me," Juri said. "Force fields can fail," Daho reminded her. He touched the screen on the wall. "I'll be monitoring from the next room. Call if you need anything." When Daho left, Juri turned back to the creature. It sat perfectly still, watching her with those golden eyes. Juri touched her tablet and spoke clearly. "Day 1 of observation. Specimen L9 appears calm." She started the tests the Mon had ordered. First, she played sounds of other animals. The creature didn't react. Then she changed the room temperature. Still no reaction. She changed the light levels from bright to dim. The creature just watched her. "This is strange," she said to herself. "It's like it's not interested in anything but me." After 4 hours, Juri took her lunch break. When she returned, Daho was waiting for her. "Any changes?" he asked. Nothing. It just sits and watches. Overseer Tall wants a report by tomorrow. He won't be happy if you have nothing to show. Juri knew he was right. The Mon expected results. They had never been patient with humans who failed. I'll try something different, she said. After Daeho left, Juri did something the Mon wouldn't like. She sat on the floor directly across from the creature, just like it was sitting. What are you? She asked softly. Why are you here? The creature tilted its head slightly. Its ears moved forward. Encouraged, Juri continued talking. I've studied many predators, but none like you. Those colors in your fur, they're beautiful. As if responding to her words, the colors in the creature's fur began to shift more quickly. Blues and purples swirled into greens and golds. Suddenly, the lights in the room flickered. The small display panel on the wall flashed a warning. Force field fluctuation. Juri's heart raced. She should call for help. But before she could move, the creature stood up on its 6 legs. It was huge, bigger than Earth's largest lions. It could cross the room in 2 jumps. The force field flickered again, becoming visible as a shimmering wall before fading. For 3 seconds, nothing protected Juri from the creature. It could have attacked. It could have killed her like it killed the 3 Mon. Instead, it did something odd. It moved its front legs in a pattern, almost like it was drawing something in the air. Then it bowed its massive head. The force field came back on with a soft hum. The moment had passed. The door slid open and Daeho rushed in. Are you okay? The system showed a force field failure. I'm fine, Juri said, standing up slowly. It didn't attack me. I'm reporting this, Daeho said firmly. This enclosure isn't safe. After he left to file the report, Juri looked back at the creature. It had returned to its sitting position, watching her with those golden eyes. She should tell the Mon what happened, how the creature moved its legs in that strange pattern, how it bowed to her, but something made her hesitate. For the first time in her life, Juri decided to keep a secret from the Mon. She would write in her report that the creature did nothing during the force field failure. She didn't understand why, but she felt something important had just happened. Something that was just between her and this strange, beautiful alien creature. For 3 days, Juri studied the creature during the day while the Mon watched. Nothing unusual happened. The creature sat, watched, and sometimes walked around its enclosure. But it never did the strange leg movements again. On the 4th night, Juri couldn't sleep. She kept thinking about those golden eyes. At midnight, she got up and went back to the lab. No one stopped her. Her researcher badge gave her access, even at night. The lab was dark and quiet. Only small blue lights lined the walkway. Juri went straight to the observation room and turned on a single light. The creature was there, sitting in the same spot, awake. Its eyes caught the light and seemed to glow from within. Why am I here? Juri asked herself softly. What am I looking for? Asterisk, you are looking for truth, asterisk. Juri jumped. The voice had been in her head, clear as any spoken words, but silent at the same time. Who said that? She asked, looking around the empty room. Asterisk, I did, asterisk. The creature's eyes were fixed on her. Impossible, she thought. Animals don't talk. Asterisk, I am not an animal. Not as you understand them, asterisk. Juri's heart pounded. This isn't possible. I must be tired. Asterisk, you are not imagining this. Juri Kim, asterisk. The creature knew her name. She had never spoken it aloud in the enclosure. What are you? She whispered. Asterisk, my people are called the Kihan. I am Ramar, a sentinel. We have watched the stars for thousands of years, asterisk. Juri slowly sat down on the floor. Why are you here? Why did you let the Mon capture you? Asterisk, I allowed it to happen. I needed to find humans who could help, asterisk. Help with what? Asterisk, the Mon lied to your people. They did not uplift you out of kindness. They want your minds. Human brains solve problems in ways the Mon cannot. They take credit for your ideas asterisk. Ju-Ri shook her head. That can't be true. They gave us space travel. They taught us about the stars. Asterisk. They gave you toys while stealing your freedom. Look at your history. Humans were building rockets and computers on their own. The Mon arrival just stopped your natural progress asterisk. If that's true, why doesn't anyone know it? Asterisk, they erased parts of your history. Ask yourself, what do you know about Earth before the Mon came? Asterisk. Ju-Ri tried to remember her history lessons. There were wars, then the Mon arrived and brought peace, but the details were fuzzy. She couldn't remember names, dates, or events from that time. Asterisk, your people had nations called United States, China, Russia, India. They were sending robots to Mars. They had a station orbiting Earth. Do you remember any of this asterisk? Ju-Ri did not. These names sounded strange to her. Asterisk, the Mon are not alone in these tricks. They have done this to many species. They find worlds with promise, take control, and create a false order with themselves at the top asterisk. Why are you telling me this? Asterisk, because it's time. Humans have been caged long enough. Your minds are too valuable to waste asterisk. Suddenly, red lights began flashing in the hallway. A soft alarm sounded. Asterisk, security drones are coming. You should go. They cannot know we've spoken asterisk. How do I know you're telling the truth? Ju-Ri asked quickly. Asterisk, you already feel it. You've always felt the cage around you, even if you couldn't see the bars. Come back tomorrow night. I have more to show you asterisk. Ju-Ri heard the hum of security drones approaching. She quickly left the room and walked toward the main lab, pretending to check equipment. A drone with the Mon security symbol floated past her, its cameras turning to scan her face. Working late, Researcher Kim, came the mechanical voice. Just double-checking my data, she answered calmly, despite her racing heart. Back in her room, Ju-Ri couldn't sleep. The creature, Ramar, had spoken in her mind. It knew Earth's history. It knew names she had never heard before. Either Ramar was lying, or everything Ju-Ri knew was wrong. The next morning, Ju-Ri walked through the station with new eyes. Had the Mon really been lying all this time? She noticed things she had never paid attention to before. How the Mon always supervised human work. How all important decisions came from Mon leaders. How humans were never allowed to learn about Mon technology beyond what they needed for their jobs. She needed more information. During lunch, she found her old friend Min-Soo Lee in the dining hall. Min-Soo worked in the archives, where station records were kept. I need your help, Ju-Ri said quietly as they sat at a corner table. Min-Soo looked surprised. Her round face showed concern. What's wrong? Do we have any records about Earth before the Mon came? Min-Soo's eyes widened. That's restricted information. Why do you want to know? Just curious, Ju-Ri said. Don't you ever wonder about our history? Min-Soo looked around to make sure no one was listening. There's a locked section in the archives. Level red clearance. It has Earth records from before the contact. Can you get in? Ju-Ri asked. Min-Soo hesitated. I could lose my job. Or worse. Please, Ju-Ri said. I wouldn't ask if it wasn't important. After a long pause, Min-Soo nodded. Give me a day. When Ju-Ri returned to the lab, Daho was waiting for her. His face looked serious. You were here last night, he said. It wasn't a question. I couldn't sleep, she answered. The security log shows you were in the observation room for 20 minutes. What were you doing? Ju-Ri tried to sound casual. Just watching. This creature fascinates me. Daho stepped closer. You've been acting strange since you started this assignment. And now you're visiting the specimen alone at night. The Mon won't like this. Are you going to report me? Ju-Ri asked. Something softened in Daho's eyes. No, not yet. But be careful, Ju-Ri. This creature killed 3 Mon. It's dangerous. That night, Jurai returned to the observation room. The creature, Ramar, was waiting. Asterisk, you came back. Asterisk, the voice in her head said. I need proof, Jurai told it. Prove that what you said about the Mon is true. Asterisk, I cannot give you physical proof. But I can show you things the Mon have hidden from you, asterisk. Suddenly, Jurai's mind filled with images. She saw Earth cities much bigger than she had been taught. She saw humans flying in planes, diving deep in oceans, and walking on the moon. She saw huge rockets launching into space. When the images stopped, Jurai was on her knees, breathing hard. Asterisk, that was your history. The Mon changed your education to make humans think they were primitive before contact, asterisk. Why would they do this? Jurai asked. Asterisk, species that believe they need help are easier to control. The Mon need your human creativity, but they fear it too. They don't want you to know your true potential, asterisk. What do you want from me? Jurai asked. Asterisk, I need to leave this place. The Kion do not interfere directly in galactic affairs. We find worthy species and offer them knowledge to free themselves. I chose you, Jurai, Kim, asterisk. Why me? Asterisk, your mind is strong. You question things. You see beyond what you're told to see, asterisk. If I help you escape, the Mon will punish me, maybe kill me. Asterisk, yes, that is the choice you face. Safety in a cage, or risk everything for freedom, asterisk. Before Jurai could answer, the door opened. Min-Su rushed in, her face pale with fear. I found something, she whispered, holding a small data stick. You were right to ask questions. The records don't match what we've been taught. There are whole sections about human achievements that were erased from our history. Min-Su suddenly noticed the creature watching them. What is that thing? A friend, I think, Jurai said. She looked at Ramar's golden eyes. I need time to think. Asterisk, time is running out, asterisk, Ramar's voice said in her head. Asterisk, the Mon are already getting suspicious. Soon you must choose. Help me escape, or remain in your cage forever, asterisk. Jurai looked at the data stick in Min-Su's hand, then at Ramar. Everything was changing too fast. But in her heart, she already knew what her choice would be. Jurai spent the whole next day thinking about what to do. If she helped Ramar escape, the Mon would punish her. If she did nothing, humans might stay under Mon control forever. By evening, she had made her decision. She would help Ramar escape, but she needed a smart plan. When Overseer Tall came to check on her work, Jurai was ready. Overseer, I have an interesting idea for my research, she said, keeping her voice steady. Tall's 4 eyes blinked at her. What is it, Researcher Kim? I think specimen L9 would show more behavior if we put it in a larger space. A controlled field test could give us valuable data. Tall looked at the creature. It has killed 3 Mon. A field test is too dangerous. Not if we plan carefully, Jurai said. We can set up a larger test area with stronger security. We would only need to turn off certain security systems for a few minutes during the transfer. Tall seemed interested. The Mon valued new research data above almost everything. Write up your proposal, he said finally. I'll consider it. After Tall left, Daho approached Jurai. His face showed worry. What are you doing? He asked. A field test is too risky. Jurai looked around to make sure they were alone. Then she made a big decision. Daho, I need to tell you something important, but you have to promise to keep it secret. What is it? He asked. The creature can speak to me. In my mind. Its name is Ramar, and it has told me things about the Mon. Things you won't believe. Daho stepped back. That's impossible. You're overworked. Maybe you need rest. Min-Su found proof. Jurai insisted. The Mon changed our history. They're not helping humans. They are using us. She showed him the data stick Min-Su had given her. It contained old Earth records that proved humans had been more advanced than the Mon taught. After reading the files, Daho sat quietly for a long time. "Why are you telling me this?" he finally asked. "Because I need your help," Juri said. "I'm going to help Ramar escape." Daho looked shocked. "That's crazy. Even if everything you say is true, how could the two of us stand against the Mon?" "We don't have to fight them directly," Juri explained. "We just need to create a chance for Ramar to get away." Daho stared at the creature, who was watching them with those golden eyes. "Why should I risk everything to help you?" he asked Juri. She had no good answer, but to her surprise, Daho sighed and said, "I'll help you. Not because I believe everything about this creature, but because I care about you. I always have." Juri hadn't expected this. She touched his hand gently. "Thank you." Over the next 3 days, they worked on their plan. Juri's field test proposal was approved. It would happen in 5 days. Meanwhile, they had to be very careful. Daho changed small bits of security data each day, making it look like normal system updates. Juri prepared the test area, adding hidden exits that wouldn't show up on Mon security screens. Min Su helped too. She sent secret messages to other humans on the station, ones she trusted, not telling them everything, just asking them to be ready for changes. The night before the field test, Juri visited Ramar one last time. "Asterisk, are you ready?" Asterisk, Ramar asked in her mind. "Yes," she said, "but I'm scared." Asterisk, fear is natural when facing the unknown. "But remember, my people have helped other species break free from control. The Mon are powerful, but not all powerful." Asterisk. "What happens after you escape?" Asterisk, that depends on what humans choose to do with their freedom. The Kihan offer knowledge, not direct help. Your species must find its own path. Asterisk. Juri nodded. "Tomorrow then." As she turned to leave, Ramar's voice came one more time. Asterisk, "Thank you, Juri Kim. What comes next will not be easy, but it will be worth the cost." Asterisk. Juri hoped the creature was right. Tomorrow would change everything, one way or another. The day of the field test arrived. Juri woke early, her heart beating fast. Today everything would change. She put on her blue uniform and went to the lab. Daho was already there, checking equipment. "Are you ready?" he asked quietly. She nodded. "Everything set?" "Yes, the security changes are done. Min Su is in position." Just then, Overseer Tall walked in. Behind him were 2 Mon security officers. "Good morning, Researcher Kim," Tall said. "I've decided to watch your field test myself. This specimen is too valuable to risk any problems." Juri felt cold fear. This wasn't part of the plan. With Tall watching, it would be much harder to help Ramar escape. "Of course, Overseer," she said, trying to hide her worry. "We're honored by your interest." Daho caught her eye, his face showing the same concern. But they couldn't stop now. The test area was a large round room with high walls. It had been set up to look like an outdoor space with fake plants and rocks. Cameras watched from every angle. Juri checked the control panel one last time. The plan was to create a small power drop during the transfer. It would look like a normal system issue, but would give Ramar a chance to escape through a hidden panel Daho had prepared. As they were about to begin, Juri's tablet beeped with a message. It was from a researcher in Lab Section B, where other alien specimens were kept. The message read, "Kim, our specimen is showing strange brain patterns. It's like it's trying to communicate. Is yours doing the same?" Juri stared at the message. Other specimens, were there more like Ramar? She had no time to think about it. Tall was watching her. "Begin the transfer," he ordered. Juri pressed the control to open the door between Ramar's enclosure and the test area. The force field would lower for 10 seconds while Ramar moved through. "Containment field dropping in 3, 2, 1, said the computer voice. The force field disappeared. Remar stood slowly, all 6 legs moving smoothly. Its golden eyes found Jury's. Then it walked calmly into the test area. But instead of following the plan and going toward the hidden exit, Remar stopped in the center of the room and looked directly at Jury. Asterisk now, asterisk, came Remar's voice in her head. Asterisk, come closer, asterisk. What are you doing? Daho whispered. Stay back. But Jury stepped forward, moving closer to the edge of the test area. Researcher Kim, maintain safe distance, Tall commanded. Jury ignored him. She knew Remar wouldn't hurt her. When she was just a few steps from Remar, the creature raised its front legs and touched them together. A soft golden light appeared between them. Asterisk, this is the gift of the Kion, asterisk, Remar said. Asterisk, knowledge to set your people free, asterisk. The golden light shot forward, touching Jury's forehead. Her mind exploded with images, sounds, and feelings. Knowledge poured into her like water into an empty cup. She saw how the Mon had changed human genes during the uplift process. They had blocked certain brain connections, limiting human mental powers while using humans for their natural creativity. The knowledge didn't just show her what the Mon had done. It undid it. Jury felt her mind expanding, reaching parts of her brain that had been closed before. Then alarms started blaring throughout the station. Brain activity alert. Unusual neural patterns detected in human subjects, announced the station computer. Tall's 4 eyes widened in shock. What is happening? Security, contained the specimen. But it was too late. Remar leaped over the barrier in a single bound, landing next to Jury. But instead of running toward the exit, it ran deeper into the station. Jury, are you okay? Daho ran to her side. Jury stood up straight, her mind clearer than it had ever been. I'm more than okay, she said. I'm awake.